I'll never forget the moment Amanda Martinez threw her iced Coca-Cola in my face at the Diamond Plaza restaurant. She called me nothing but a poor servant. What she didn't know? My husband owned the entire building, and I was working there by choice. What happened next changed everything. If you love stories about powerful revenge and shocking revelations, smash that subscribe button right now. Trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming. This is going to be intense. My name is Nora, and I need to tell you something that might surprise you. Every morning, I wake up in a penthouse apartment overlooking the city skyline. Floor-to-ceiling windows, marble countertops, a view that most people only see in magazines. My husband, Lucas, kisses me goodbye before heading to his office, running his empire of restaurants, shopping centers, and luxury apartments across the city. We have everything we could ever want. And yet, 3 times a week, I put on a simple waitress uniform and serve coffee and pasta to strangers. People think I'm crazy. Maybe I am. But there's something about working at the Diamond Plaza restaurant that keeps me grounded. It reminds me of who I was before the money, before the penthouse, before I became Mrs. Cooper. When I'm there, wearing that uniform with my name tag pinned to my chest, I'm just Nora. Not the billionaire's wife, just a woman trying to make people's day a little brighter with good service and a warm smile. Lucas worries about me, of course. That morning, as he adjusted his tie in front of our bedroom mirror, he turned to me with that concerned look he gets. "Promise me you'll call if anything goes wrong," he said, his voice serious. I walked over and straightened his collar, smiling up at him. "I'll be fine. It's just serving food." He kissed my forehead, but I could see the worry in his eyes. "I'll pick you up after your shift, okay?" I nodded, and he left for another day of business deals and board meetings. I arrived at Diamond Plaza around 11 that morning, just like always. The restaurant sits on the ground floor of one of Lucas's buildings, though nobody there knows it except George, the manager. And George only knows because he has to send the financial reports somewhere. To everyone else, I'm just Nora, the friendly waitress who always volunteers for the difficult tables and never complains about staying late. My coworkers greeted me warmly as I changed into my uniform in the small staff room. "Hey, Nora! Thank God you're here. We're getting slammed today," said Jenny, one of the other servers. I tied my apron and grabbed my order pad, ready for another shift. This was my escape, my way of staying connected to real life. In the penthouse, everyone knows who Lucas is. Everyone wants something. But here, people just wanted their food served hot and their coffee refilled. It was honest. It was real. The lunch rush started smooth enough. Families with children, business people grabbing quick meals, elderly couples enjoying their retirement. I moved between tables with practiced ease, taking orders, delivering food, clearing plates. This was my rhythm. This was where I felt most like myself. Then, around 1:30, everything changed. The front doors burst open with such force that several customers turned to look. 4 women stumbled in, already loud, already commanding attention. The one leading the group wore a cream-colored designer dress that probably cost more than most people's monthly rent, paired with bright red heels that clicked aggressively against the tile floor. Her name, I would soon learn, was Amanda Martinez. Her friends followed behind her like an entourage, all dressed to impress, all laughing at something that clearly wasn't that funny. They were already tipsy. I could tell from the way they walked, the volume of their voices, the careless way they knocked into chairs as they made their way to a center table. "This one," Amanda announced loudly, pointing at a table right in the middle of the dining area. "We want everyone to see us." The restaurant, which had been filled with the pleasant murmur of conversation, suddenly felt tense. Amanda and her friends collapsed into their chairs with dramatic sighs, immediately pulling out their phones and taking selfies with the flash on. Bright bursts of light disrupted other diners. A little girl at a nearby table started crying from the sudden flashes. "Oh my God, Brittany, you look so good in this one!" Amanda shrieked, her voice carrying across the entire restaurant. Her friend leaned over and they both screamed with laughter at something on the phone screen. Another one of their group was filming everything, narrating loudly. "And here we are at Diamond Plaza about to have the best lunch ever." I watched as a family at the next table exchanged uncomfortable glances. An elderly couple tried to continue their meal, but kept getting interrupted by the explosive laughter from Amanda's table. Other servers were deliberately avoiding that section, suddenly very busy with tasks that kept them far away. I noticed several customers checking their watches, clearly considering leaving early. A young mother was covering her child's ears as Amanda's group launched into an inappropriate joke that got even louder reactions. This wasn't just annoying anymore, they were actively ruining everyone else's experience. I took a deep breath and made a decision. Someone had to say something. I walked over to their table, putting on my most polite smile. "Excuse me, ladies. I'm so glad you're having fun." They didn't even look up from their phones. I continued, keeping my voice gentle and respectful. "But would you mind keeping it down just a little? Other guests are trying to enjoy their meals too." The effect was immediate and chilling. Amanda stopped mid-laugh. She turned slowly, her eyes landing on me like a predator spotting prey. Her smile disappeared, replaced by a look of pure disdain. "Excuse me?" Her voice had dropped to a dangerous whisper. "Did you just tell us to be quiet?" Her friends giggled, sensing drama about to unfold. They set down their phones, suddenly very interested. I maintained my composure, keeping my voice steady. "I'm just asking politely, ma'am. There are families here, and—" "Do you know who I am?" Amanda interrupted, standing up from her chair. She was tall, made taller by those red heels, and she used every inch of that height to look down at me. "I don't take orders from the help." The word help came out like poison. I felt my cheeks flush, but I kept my professional smile in place. "I understand, ma'am. I'm just trying to make sure all our guests are comfortable." Amanda looked me up and down, her lip curling in disgust. "All your guests? Honey, I probably spend more on my morning coffee than you make in a week. Don't tell me what to do." She sat back down with exaggerated movements, then deliberately turned to her friends and said, even louder than before, "Can you believe the nerve of some people? The help thinking they can talk to us like we're equals." The laughter that followed was cruel and pointed, but I walked away, returning to my other tables, hoping that would be the end of it. It wasn't. For the next 20 minutes, Amanda and her friends made it their personal mission to make my life difficult. Every time I walked past, Amanda would snap her fingers at me like I was a dog. "You! Waitress! We need drinks!" I took their orders carefully, writing down every detail. When I brought their drinks back, Amanda took one sip of her elaborate cocktail and made a face like I'd served her poison. "This is wrong. Did you even listen to my order? Make it again." Her friends nodded in agreement, though I knew for a fact I'd made it exactly as she'd asked. I took the drink back, remade it with the bartender watching to confirm I did it perfectly, and brought it back. Amanda took another sip. "Still wrong. Are you stupid or just incompetent?" Her friends erupted in laughter. "Maybe she can't read the menu properly," one of them suggested loudly. "Do they hire anyone these days?" Another chimed in. I felt the heat rising in my face, but I kept my voice level. "I'm very sorry, ma'am. Would you like to try something different?" Amanda waved her hand dismissively. "Just go away. Your presence is ruining my appetite." Other customers were watching now, some with sympathy in their eyes, others pulling out their phones to record. I retreated to the kitchen, taking a moment to steady my breathing. George, the manager, found me there. "Nora, I'm so sorry. I saw what's happening. Do you want me to—" He stopped, and we both knew why. He couldn't do anything, not without revealing who I really was, and I wasn't ready for that. I wanted to handle this like any other server would have to. "I'm fine, George." "Really? I've dealt with worse." That was a lie. I hadn't dealt with worse, but I wasn't going to let Amanda win. I went back out, determined to finish my shift with dignity, but Amanda wasn't done with me, not even close. She stood up from her table suddenly, her chair scraping loudly against the floor. The entire restaurant seemed to pause. Amanda's voice rang out, clear and cruel, meant for everyone to hear. "Look at this pathetic woman!" She pointed directly at me. This is what failure looks like, girls." Her friends giggled nervously, but Amanda was on a roll. "Probably never went to school. Probably doesn't even have a high school diploma. Serving people like us is the best she'll ever do." I felt every eye in the restaurant on me. My hands started trembling. Some customers looked angry on my behalf. A few were filming, but nobody intervened. What could they do? Amanda continued her performance. "This is why education matters, ladies. Otherwise, you end up like this, a nobody serving somebody's, a servant who will never, ever be anything more." The words hit like physical blows. I'd been called names before, dealt with rude customers, but this was different. This was personal. This was cruel, and it was happening in front of dozens of people. But I still didn't cry. I wouldn't give her that satisfaction. Then Amanda picked up her glass. It was full of Coca-Cola, ice cold, freshly poured with ice cubes floating at the top. She held it up, and for a second, I thought she was going to drink it. Instead, she smiled, a cold, calculated smile. "You know what? You're not even worth my time. Here, this is all you deserve." And she threw it. The entire glass of Coca-Cola right in my face. The liquid hit me like a shock of cold reality. It soaked into my hair, ran down my face, dripped onto my uniform. Ice cubes bounced off my shoulders and clattered to the floor. The brown liquid burned my eyes, and I could taste the sweetness of it on my lips. The entire restaurant gasped. Someone screamed. But I just stood there, frozen, feeling the Coca-Cola drip down my chin, down my neck, soaking into my clothes. Amanda laughed. "Oops, clean that up. It's your job, isn't it?" Her friends were silent now, looking uncomfortable, but Amanda was triumphant, sitting back down like she'd just won a victory. That's when George rushed over, his face red with fury, but completely helpless. He knew who I was. He knew my husband owned this entire building, but he couldn't say anything without my permission. "Ma'am, I'm going to have to ask you to leave," he said to Amanda, his voice shaking with barely controlled anger. Amanda just laughed. "What? Going to fire me? I'm a customer. I have rights. What's she going to do? Sue me? With what money?" Other customers started speaking up. "That's completely unacceptable," one man called out. "You should be ashamed of yourself," a woman added. But Amanda just waved them off. "Mind your business, or leave. This doesn't concern you." I felt tears threatening, but I blinked them back. I wouldn't cry. Not here. Not in front of her. And then the front doors opened. The restaurant fell into an eerie silence. Every head turned toward the entrance. A man walked in, tall and distinguished in an expensive gray suit that fit him perfectly. His watch caught the light. I recognized it because I'd bought it for him last Christmas. It cost more than Amanda's dress and shoes combined. Lucas. His eyes scanned the restaurant quickly, efficiently, the way he assessed everything. Then they landed on me. Standing there, soaking wet, Coca-Cola dripping from my hair, ice cubes scattered at my feet. I watched his expression change. The warm smile he'd worn when he walked in vanished. His jaw clenched. His eyes went cold, colder than I'd ever seen them. He didn't run to me. He walked. Each step was measured, controlled, but radiating barely contained fury. Amanda and her friends were watching him too, probably admiring the expensive suit, not understanding yet. Lucas reached me and gently touched my shoulder, his voice soft but dangerous. "Sweetheart, what happened?" That one word, sweetheart, seemed to echo through the silent restaurant. Amanda's eyes widened slightly. Sweetheart?" She forced a laugh. "Well, isn't that sweet? Your husband came to check on you." Lucas didn't look at her yet. He was examining me, his hand gentle as he brushed wet hair from my face. "Are you hurt?" I shook my head, not trusting my voice. He saw the empty glass on Amanda's table, the remaining ice cubes on the floor, and his eyes darkened further. Only then did he turn to Amanda. "Who did this?" Amanda actually smirked. "Look, I don't know who you are, but your wife was incredibly rude to me and my friends. She needed to be taught a lesson about respect." "Respect?" Lucas repeated slowly, as if testing the word. You're going to lecture my wife about respect? His voice was quiet, but it carried a weight that made Amanda's smirk falter. Well, yes, actually. Just because she's married doesn't mean she can— George, Lucas interrupted, not raising his voice, but the authority in it was unmistakable. Come here, please. George appeared immediately, looking nervous. Lucas's voice remained calm, almost conversational. Tell everyone in this restaurant who owns this building. George swallowed hard. You do, sir. Mr. Lucas Cooper. The restaurant went completely silent. You could have heard a pin drop. Lucas continued, his eyes never leaving Amanda's face, which was slowly losing its color. And the shopping mall next door? Who owns that? Also you, sir, George answered. And the luxury apartment complex across the street? Yours as well, Mr. Cooper. I watched as Amanda's face transformed from smug superiority to dawning horror. One of her friends whispered urgently, Amanda, oh my God, what did you do? Lucas took a step closer to Amanda, and she actually stepped back. My wife doesn't need to work, he said quietly. We live in the penthouse apartment, the one on the top floor with the wraparound terrace. She works here because she has a good heart, because she genuinely enjoys making people happy, because she's kind. These are qualities you clearly know nothing about. Amanda's mouth opened and closed, but no sound came out. Lucas turned to address the entire restaurant, his voice warm now, the fury hidden beneath professional courtesy. Ladies and gentlemen, I sincerely apologize for this disruption to your meals. Everything you've ordered today is completely free, with my compliments. Consider it an apology from my wife Nora, who makes this restaurant what it is. A place of warmth and excellent service. The restaurant erupted in applause. People were standing, some cheering. I saw phones everywhere recording this moment. But Lucas wasn't done. He turned back to Amanda, and his voice dropped to that dangerous quiet again. George, I want the security footage from the past hour. All of it. Have it sent to my lawyer. He looked at Amanda. What you did wasn't just rude. You assaulted my wife. That's not a social faux pas. That's a crime. Wait, I didn't mean— Amanda started, her voice panicked now. You meant every single word, Lucas cut her off, and now you'll face every single consequence. He pulled out his phone, and I watched as he methodically destroyed Amanda's comfortable life. You are permanently banned from this restaurant and every single property I own in this city. He started listing them. That includes 12 restaurants, 8 shopping centers, 4 hotels, and 3 luxury gyms. Amanda's eyes went wider with each number. Her friends were frantically checking their phones, confirming the information, their faces going pale as they realized the extent of Lucas's holdings. That's half the city center, one friend whispered. But Lucas wasn't finished. He made a call, putting it on speaker. Hello. This is Lucas Cooper. I need to speak to the manager of the boutique on 5th Avenue. There was a pause, then a woman's voice came through. Yes, Mr. Cooper. How can I help you? I'm sending you a photograph. The woman in this photo is banned from your store, effective immediately. Amanda actually gasped. No, please. Not there. That's my favorite store. Lucas looked at her without sympathy. Should have thought of that before you threw a drink in my wife's face. He hung up and immediately dialed another number, and another, each time banning Amanda from another establishment, her favorite spa, her regular salon, the country club where she played tennis. Please stop, Amanda was crying now, mascara running down her face. I'm sorry. I didn't know. You didn't know she was my wife, Lucas corrected coldly. But you knew she was a human being deserving of basic respect. You just didn't care. That's when I noticed the phones. Dozens of customers had been filming the entire interaction. Some were already typing on their screens. Within minutes, one of Amanda's friends looked at her phone and went white. Amanda, we're trending on social media. Someone had already posted the video with the caption, "Wealthy woman humiliates waitress. Turns out the waitress is married to a billionaire. Watch instant karma happen in real time." Amanda's phone started buzzing incessantly. Notifications flooding in. Her carefully curated social media presence was being destroyed in real time. Comments pouring in, people sharing the video, her name being dragged through the digital mud. Security guards arrived. Lucas had called them during his phone calls. "Please escort these ladies out," he said calmly. "They're no longer welcome here or at any of my properties." Amanda was openly sobbing now, reaching out toward Lucas. "Please, I'll apologize. I'll do anything." "You had your chance to be a decent person," Lucas replied. "You chose cruelty instead. Now live with the consequences." Her friends abandoned her, walking out separately, trying to distance themselves from the scandal. Amanda was escorted out alone, crying, her designer dress and perfect makeup ruined by tears, her red heels clicking pathetically as she was led to the door. Cameras followed her the entire way. When the door finally closed behind her, the restaurant erupted in applause again. But Lucas ignored it all. He turned to me, his face softening instantly. "Let's get you cleaned up." He led me to the staff room, found a clean uniform, and waited outside while I changed. When I came out, my hair still damp but no longer dripping with Coca-Cola, he pulled me into his arms. "I'm so sorry I wasn't here sooner," he whispered. I held him tight. "You came exactly when I needed you." He pulled back to look at me seriously. "You never have to work here again if you don't want to. Say the word and we'll—" "No," I interrupted him. "I love working here. I'm not going to let her take that away from me. She doesn't get to win." Lucas smiled, that warm smile I'd fallen in love with years ago. "That's my Nora." We walked out together, hand in hand. The customers gave us a standing ovation. Several came up to tell me they'd always thought I was wonderful, that Amanda got what she deserved. George was grinning from ear to ear, clearly delighted at how things had turned out. As Lucas and I left the restaurant together, I looked back one more time. This place wasn't just my escape anymore, it was my choice. My decision to be kind, to serve others, to stay grounded in a world that could so easily make you forget what really matters. Amanda learned the hardest lesson of her life that day: never judge someone by their uniform or their job. My husband didn't just defend me, he showed her that actions have real, lasting consequences. I still work at that restaurant. I still serve customers with a smile. Because my worth isn't defined by my bank account or who I'm married to. It's defined by how I treat people, especially when they don't know who I am. If this story gave you chills, hit that like button and subscribe for more incredible true stories. Share this with someone who needs to remember that respect costs nothing, but disrespect can cost everything. Drop a comment telling me, what would you have done in my situation? Thanks for watching, and remember, treat everyone with kindness. You never know who you're really dealing with. The person you humiliate today might be the one who controls your tomorrow.